The following program does not offer personal medical advice. Please consult your doctor before using any treatment or product we cover. Welcome to Go to Health Media with your host, Jonathan Marks. We provide a welcoming environment where experts educate you on important health topics, answer your questions, and provide information from which you can benefit in consultation with your doctor. You can visit and subscribe to the show at gotohealthmedia.com. And now, here is Jonathan Marks. Hello, everyone. This is Jonathan Marks with another episode of Go to Health. If you have children who are not yet teenagers, you know the challenges we all suffered during the COVID pandemic. Fear, isolation, no school, a complete restructuring of home and work life. But now that the pandemic has passed, how are parents and kids readjusting to normal life that previously felt like chaos? Is everyone back to normal as the new school year begins, or are we still readjusting psychologically? The pandemic has truly changed a generation of kids and parents. Scouting America, formerly the Boy Scouts of America, has some new research that takes the temperature on how families with children are feeling. Parents are afraid of childhood just slipping away. With us today is Angie Manette, who has served as a member of the Program Development Committee and as chair of the Scouts BSA program, managing the team responsible for maintaining, updating, and innovating the Scouts BSA program. She's the first woman to hold this position. Congratulations, Andy. It's safe to say her scouting career has escalated beyond den leader. My mother was a den mother as too. Outside of scouting, Angie worked in the field of genetics, but has spent the last 15 years serving as the important position of mom full-time. Good for you. She loves volunteering and has served on her local library board for the last 5 years, is the current president of her local American Legion Auxiliary Post. Welcome to the show, Angie. How are you today?
Hi, I am very good. Thank you.
Good. So I went through scouting as a Cub Scout and a Boy Scout, and my mother was involved as well. So I know much of what you have done. So let me ask the first question. How has scouting changed in the last decade?
Okay, gosh. So Scouting serves both boys and girls now. So Scouting America used to be named Boy Scouts of America, and we are now Scouting America, which reflects that we serve boys and girls from age 5 to 21 in a variety of different programs. So that is, I think, the biggest change that everyone should know about.
Good. And what are some of the benefits of scouting?
Scouting teaches so many things. When you think about scouting, you think about hiking and camping and fishing. And yes, we do those things. We do those things. And they're a lot of fun. But they're not the point of why we do them. They are a means to an end. They are the tool that we are using to help kids learn to be resilient, to help kids learn to explore their world, and to learn how to be good humans.
Scouting America did some research. What did the research show about how kids and parents are feeling? What are some of the main findings?
Sure. We partnered with a company called Humanology, and Humanology tracks what people value. And we have 100 different markers about things that people value most. And so we specifically looked at both parents and kids, and we tracked them for 5 years to see how their values changed. Well, we had this thing, the pandemic that happened, right? And I'm a parent. I lived through it with my kids myself. During the pandemic, what parents we found, they focused on, their priority was on safety for their kids. So their number one priority became safety. And likewise, the kids themselves also identified that they wanted to feel safe in their own homes. That was their number one priority. But in 2020, towards the end of 2020, something shifted. And as a collective across the United States, parents, we decided, okay, it's not reasonable for us to think about we have to protect our kids from everything. We just can't, right? The world is just, there's so much going on. So our focus shifted towards we wanted our kids to be resilient as parents. We want our kids to be able to bounce back from whatever life throws at them. And likewise, we really want for our kids to just be kids again. We want them to have those normal childhood experiences. When we looked at the kids, we got much of the same story. So they had that shift too, to where they went from prioritizing safety in their home to, hey, I just want to be a kid. I want to do normal kid things. I want to have friends. I want to have fun with my friends. I want to learn new things and be good at something that my parents can be proud of. And I want to be able to have some autonomy to make some choices about my life myself. And those are the things that kids identified. And those things are still very strong right now because our study went all the way up to 2024. And those are still things that are even stronger priorities than even before the pandemic that parents are wanting for their children.
So this was a 5-year research program. Is that what I
It
heard?
is, yes. So it was very interesting because we started in 2018 before the pandemic started and got to see that whole progression of change and what parents and kids value.
What was the most surprising thing you found about the research that was done?
I think one of the most surprising things and probably the most exciting thing for me is that the things that parents are looking for and the things that kids are looking for are the same, right? They're the same, they dovetail nicely, but they're things that Scouting America delivers really, really well. We do a really good job in our programs of teaching kids how to be resilient, giving them those childhood experiences that they're looking for, having a program that lets them choose and make choices and feel good about themselves. And I think that gives me goosebumps because that's exactly what I have seen happen for my own kids in the program.
So the kids are going out there and being themselves again. How are parents feeling about all this? Is everybody kind of back to normal, or is there still some skittishness? What's that like?
So, I mean, as a parent and you know, your kid did not have these experiences that maybe they should have had during the pandemic. And now we're trying to play catch up, right? We're trying to make sure that our kids have those experiences. So, and they're just normal kid things, right? Spending that quality time with your kids, whether they're younger kids or teenagers, but spending that time with them and allowing them to explore the world. They lost out on so much for a couple years exploring their world and learning about who they are and what they enjoy and spending the time with other kids and making new friends. So I think that is definitely where we're still at with helping our kids learn. And they're so connected right now in phones. And that's, you know, not necessarily a bad thing, but we want them also to explore the world and to be able to just have fun without having to worry about that.
So let me share my scouting experience, and then if you would, tell me what still exists and what's different.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So I went through Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts, and I remember weekly den meetings or weekly, scout meetings. And so there'd be lots of fun and, hanging around and playing. I went to scouting camp. We went on all sorts of camping trips. We went on different trips to different places, like to big ships and stuff like that. A lot of good activities. And then I did a lot of work on merit badges, and I had my whole sash of merit badges I was very proud of. I'm just curious, is what's still the same and what has changed? What's been added to the
Sure.
program?
Sure. So I think the biggest change is that we serve all youth, right? Because everything that we're teaching isn't unique to boys.
Yes.
It is great for both boys and girls. But the program, hasn't changed some of the core things. So those things that you enjoyed, those campings and the scout camp and earning the merit badges and working on the projects with your parents, those things are all still there in scouting. But what looks different is we've incorporated a whole bunch of new things. So we have things like coding and rocketry and learning of the STEM and the art and everything as incorporated into the program. So kids start in Cub Scouts, which you mentioned. Cub Scouts is for age 5 to 10, and that's a family program. So you're going with your kids, and you're participating with your kids in the program, and they're learning all the same things that you probably learned as a kid, and doing the Pinewood Derby and learning how to do race cars,
Yes.
and they're all those things. Great,
Good.
yep.
Glad
But
to
they're
hear
all
it.
Yeah, they're also learning things like they're learning STEM, and they're learning how to take care of their pets and their home and their family and themselves. And so it's this great program that really you'll probably recognize if you walk back into a Cub Pack.
Wonderful, great. And how did you move up so high in the organization? That's wonderful that you did. Tell us a little bit about your story.
Yeah, so I started like many people do. I got involved. We moved to a new town, and I wanted for my kids to meet the kids in the neighborhood. So we said, hey, there's a Cub Pack that's advertising about 2 blocks away. Why don't we put the kids in Scouts and see what happens? So that is something where I said, well, okay, well, if I'm here anyway with my kids participating, my husband and I both decided, well, we'll help out. And it kind of grew from there. The best kept secret about Scouting is that it's not just for the kids. As an adult, there are so many opportunities for you as an adult to learn to grow and to experience things. So I've got to do some traveling with my kids. I've got to do some amazing opportunities where I've learned so much as an adult and training. And I think that's perhaps the best kept secret, is that Scouting is good for the whole family.
Great, that's wonderful. Where can we go to learn more, Angie?
Sure. If you're interested in learning more about Scouting for your family, you can go to beascout.org. And on beascout.org, you can put in your zip code and find the units that are closest to you to find out more information.
Good. And if I wanted to volunteer, let's say I remember when I got my merit badges, I would go to different houses with, either men or women, mostly men at that time, but basically who had some expertise in the merit badge I was working on, and they would test me or train me or whatever. Is there still room for plenty of volunteers like me?
Oh, absolutely. Like whatever you are good at, I bet there's a merit badge that goes along with it, because the merit badges are for the kids to learn a little bit about the world and about all the opportunities available to them. So any adult who's interested in that can go to scouting.org and look at all the merit badges offered, and look at what the requirements are, and could contact at beascout.org and find out more about how you can volunteer as a merit badge counselor, which means you would help mentor scouts in that area.
I'm glad you're reintroducing me to this, because I might really consider it. Thank you so much.
We would love to have you.
Good,
That would be
thank you.
fantastic.
So we've been talking with Angie Minette, who has served as a member of the Program Development Committee and as a chair of the Scouts BSA programming, managing the team responsible for maintaining, updating, and innovating the Scouts BSA program. And as you've heard, it's now co-ed. They're boys and girls equally. And it just sounds like the same wonderful program it was that I experienced. I still have my merit badges. I still have my sash. I still have my Boy Scout handbook. It was just a wonderful, wonderful experience for me. And I highly encourage you all to go. Tell me the website again.
It's beascout.org.
beascout.org. Angie Minette, thanks so much for being with us. And we will see you again. You can watch Go to Health Media on our website at gotohealthmedia.com. You can watch our shows on YouTube and on 8 podcast networks. Thanks again, Angie, for being here. Have a great week and a great time with the Scouts.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in this week to Go to Health Media. Be sure to join Jonathan Marks and another health expert next time. You can also catch the program on your favorite podcast platform. Until our next show, be sure to visit us on the web at gotohealthmedia.com and elevate your life.